Hey, all you cool cats and kittens. It's the Thoughts from the Round Table Boys, and today, as you can clearly tell, we're talking about Tiger King.
Yeah, we are. Ugh. Excuse me.
Tiger King is a documentary on Netflix that really took social media by storm. Now, I think part of the reason it went so well is because not only is it such a strange story, it appeals to so many people, but, we're all quarantined. So you're going to have a ton of time on your hands to sit down and watch the 7-hour documentary.
Yeah, that's real fair. That's a good point. I think it also just has something to do with just how stupid and outrageous the story is. I feel like it would not be near as popular, but I think it would still be probably on the top of Netflix, even outside of quarantine.
Yeah, I agree. It's almost like a don't F with cats type documentary. I'd say quality-wise and story-wise, but just the fact that there's, just so much time, everyone has the time to watch it.
Yeah. And I'll tell you something, guys. This is not the first time we've tried to record this podcast. But we realized in the first run that a new episode was going to come out, and so we waited for the new episode to come out, and now we're redoing it here. And so with that, please, everyone, join us at the round table.
For those of you who haven't watched Tiger King, first of all, we always recommend, whatever subject we're talking about, please watch first. Because, one, you're going to be lost, and two, you're going to call us liars for thinking that this is a real story. Because if you just looked at this and said, okay, here are these two idiots podcasts talking about this stupid documentary that they made up. We didn't make it up. It's real. Watch it. So I think no better place to start than with our main character, Joe. Joe Exotic. He is a blonde, mullet, redneck, polygamous gay person who owns big cats.
He owns so many tigers, dude. 300 tigers.
Yeah, and the whole show is pretty much seeing what shenanigans / dark deeds he gets himself into.
Because you see, guys, Joe isn't what you'd call smart. He's actually kind of stupid.
Yeah, just the way he runs his mouth and doesn't shut up, the way he treats people around him. Some saw it as good, some saw it as bad. I think we're going to get into that a little bit later. Just he runs a white trash zoo. Is what it looks like.
It's like a zoo out the back of a trailer park.
Yeah, we learn about him, his mortal enemy, Carol Baskins, who killed her husband. Probably.
Allegedly.
Yeah, we learn about Doc Antle, one of Joe's rivals, who has a sex cult and harvests women to work for him and breed with him. And then we have, Jeff Lowe, who is kind of a scumbag. And we have, just a whole cast of characters that we learn about as Joe. We see Joe's life pretty much unfold.
Yeah, I mean, when you watch this show, I think that it's so impressive that so many of these people actually exist. This isn't even, made up. This is real. It's almost like, you wonder, if you go into that industry of, zookeeping not proper zoos, are you required to be mentally insane?
That's in the beginning, I think one of the first clips we see, there's that guy, I don't remember even who it was, but he was like, monkey people are kind of normal. Big cat people, they're crazy. And this shows that is such a true statement when you watch this documentary. Because all the people in here are just nuts.
You would not expect anything when you go into this. I can guarantee that you cannot predict anything that's gonna happen. It is revolution. It's groundbreaking stuff when it comes to writing. There are so many plot twists, so many betrayals and other people coming in just like completely insane. It's unreal. It's unreal.
It seems so crazy that it has to be real because who could come up with this?
Yeah. No, that's so fair. That's such a good way of putting it.
Because there's no way that someone sitting in their room would be like, you know what? Let's do this. Let's write a book or make a movie about a redneck who owns tigers and runs for governor and
And president.
and president, and he gets arrested for 22 years, and people take over his zoo, and he's a country singer, and he tries to kill people. There's just so much information that we learn about that I don't think any one person could come up with.
Yeah. I think it's gonna be a hard thing to digest in a podcast. I'll tell you that. But I think a perfect place to start is a little game we're gonna play, and that's called "Does this person belong in federal prison?" And we're gonna kind of go over the cast of characters and discover which ones of them probably should be locked up.
Yeah, and the amount that should be is just surprising.
Oh, I would say a vast majority.
Yeah. We'll start with the ones who I think probably shouldn't be. First, John Reinke. Doesn't have the legs. I think he's a good guy. He doesn't belong in prison. He didn't do anything wrong.
Nah, I think he did it. He was pretty much like rock solid the entire thing.
And it was good to see him in the episode 8, the after show, essentially. That, he's doing well. He's happy. He got new teeth. Just, his life's really changed for the positive after this.
I really appreciate the fact that they went in and told the origin behind the random skeleton.
Yeah.
In his car. I think that was a pretty well-deserved question. A question I had when I first watched the show, and they showed him just driving with a random skeleton and no explanation.
Our next character, I find him shady. Some people, I guess, liked him. Rick Kirkham. He was going to make a reality show about the Tiger King, Joe Exotic. I don't think he belongs in prison, but he just still weirded me out as a dude.
I agree. No prison for our producer.
Ooh, a little alliteration there.
Always.
Next, we've got Saf.
Definitely no.
One of the, without a doubt, a no for me. And I think one of the most morally high characters out of everyone.
Probably the only character that actually consistently has morals in the show.
Yeah, she cares about the tigers. We see that. She lost her arm to it and was ready to go back and care for him. And she said, they asked her in the after show about, do they think Carol Baskin's zoo is a better place for the tigers? And she said, well, really, there's no other option. They can't go back to the wild. And I feel like her as a person always has the animals at heart, which is what this whole, and when you run a zoo is what it should be about. But unfortunately, it wasn't.
Yeah.
Next, Joshua Dial, his campaign manager, doesn't belong in prison.
Yeah, no prison for him. He sketches me out. I'm gonna be honest. He has a couple things that really sketch me out, but at the same time, does he belong in a cell? No.
I think. I don't think so. I think he's just weird.
Yeah, I think he's just kind of a little off. But I mean, if you're working with Joe, if you're a campaign manager that he found at Walmart, I mean, you know what I mean.
Yeah, you don't belong in prison. You're just an odd dude.
Yeah, you're just kind of kooky.
One of my favorite characters, Eric Crowley. Just to come in, he would come in every once in a while with his long blonde hair, say a few words, and be out. He doesn't belong in prison, but he is a cool man.
Yeah, he belongs on the cover of Rolling Stone's magazine, is where he belongs.
Is he an all-time hang after this? Like, you just want to sit down and talk to him?
Yeah, even on the after show, he seems like such just a genuine dude. I think he was my favorite segment of the after show, because they were like, so, did you watch the show? He's like, nah.
Yeah, I 100% agree. interesting the whole time.
Yeah, good on him. I'm glad he didn't watch it.
The next character, Barbara Fisher. For those of you who don't know, one, I have a list because I have problem remembering names. Two, this is the girl who left Doc Antle's sex cult. I don't
Probably,
think she doesn't need to be in prison. If anything, she should be awarded something for
yeah,
reporting the sex cult.
yeah. She should probably be the farthest away from a jail cell.
Yeah, the next
Honestly,
three
out of all of them.
we'll just take these next three. They weren't that important. These were the family members of Carol's ex-husband.
Oh yeah, I mean they didn't seem like
They
they did
didn't.
anything wrong. They were barely
Yeah,
in the show.
yeah. John Finlay.
No
He was
jail.
the shirtless man with no teeth. Yeah, no jail. Wild card.
Definitely a wild card.
For some reason, like I know he got new teeth in the after show, but he did seem more calm and more cleaned up afterwards.
He really did.
Like he seemed like a normal guy in the after show,
Maybe
not in the regular show.
Yeah, maybe it was partially because you wore a shirt in the after show. I think that kind of, when you just take your shirt off to do an interview, one, power move. Absolute power move. Especially because he explained it. And it's like they didn't tell him to take his shirt off. He just sat down in the chair and just took the thing off. He's like, I got tattoos, gotta show them off. Fair. Dude, respect. But like also,
Yeah.
makes you look super sketchy.
Yeah, 100% agree. Our next character, Dylan Passage. This is Joe's current husband, maybe? Didn't really touch on that point, if they were still together. I assume so. But doesn't need to be in prison, but could be eventually. I think he's got a little bit of shadiness in him.
I think that out of everyone, this might be the most confusing. Because, like, yeah, probably not. But also, like, I don't know. And he really likes Joe. And that makes me think probably has committed numerous crimes.
If he's not in prison now, he will be.
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
Next, Lauren Lowe.
Prison.
Jeff Lowe's wife. Yeah.
Put her in the prison.
Send her to the ranch.
Dude,
She's a
she
scumbag.
actually should go to the ranch. The ranch could really help her. The whole she's in a weird relationship.
Facts.
Makes me uncomfortable. Out of all the relationships in the show that weird me out, and believe me, there are a lot of them, hers is quite possibly the one that makes me just the most uncomfortable.
Yeah,
Because,
I totally agree with that.
I mean, yeah, sure, Joe's polygamous, but like, it seems like she has no power in the relationship.
Also, I think Jeff Lowe is older than both of my parents by a good amount, and she's got to be, 4 or 5 years older than us, right? She can't be that much older than that.
Yeah, she can't be in her 30s. No way.
No. And then their nanny is even weirder.
Yeah, that makes me incredibly uncomfortable as well.
Yeah, our next character. Now we're going to start getting into the shady ones.
Let's
James
go.
Garretson. James
Jail.
Garretson.
Jail.
They talked in the after show. Jeff knew that there was more. The reason he was reporting to the feds, because what he did was super illegal. He said there's more than just a baboon that he was going to get in trouble for. So, without a doubt, jail. Without a doubt.
Yeah, no, he really, if anything, he should go to prison just for wearing that small of a life jacket.
Yeah, but man, did he look cool with his hair flowing in the wind.
Yeah, no joke. Coolest moment of the show. Playing Eye of the Tiger over his jet ski, but like, jail.
Next, Tim Stark. No jail.
I don't think jail for Timothy.
Yeah, I think, he just got caught up with the wrong people.
I think, like, I've been to his zoo a while ago. I mean, not really that long ago, but it seems like a pretty respectable place. Pretty much like all the animals love him. He loves all of them. It doesn't seem like how Joe's was like a big industrial farm for tigers. His is more like I have a lot of money somehow, and I'm using it to buy a bunch of crazy pets.
Yeah, I don't think he belongs in jail. I think he just got wrapped up with Jeff Lowe. Which brings us to our next character, Jeff Lowe.
Jeff Lowe should be in prison for the rest of his life, and maybe his kids should take the sentence after him.
Yeah, how did he get his money? It didn't tell, did it?
I don't know. It had to be crime.
Shady dealings. Shady dealings. Put him in jail for life.
Yeah, no,
Alan,
for sure.
His right-hand man, Alan Glover.
Alan Glover has killed probably 6 or 7 people.
Yeah, he is the scariest person on the show. And there are lots of scary people on the show.
Looking at him fills me with existential dread.
Yeah.
He is the type of person, you know, when you're laying in your room and it's kind of dark and you just hear kind of like a knock at the window and you're like, yeah, that's probably wind. He would be that guy. He would be the guy sitting at your window with a gun.
Yeah, it's Alan Glover. It's not the wind.
It's not the wind. It's Mr. Glover, and he's here to murder you.
Carol Baskin.
Jail for Carol.
She without a doubt murdered her.
It is so obvious that she killed her husband. So obvious.
Yeah. The evidence is against her, and I think her whole Big Cat Rescue scam is over.
Yeah, Big Cat Rescue might be the scummiest part of the show. Like, at least Joe was, like, outright with what his park was. But I feel like hers is almost more scummy because it's like a lie.
Yeah. Next. Joe. Exotic.
Jail for Joe. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Jail for Joe.
In our first recording of this, we were like, yeah, you know, he might deserve jail for a few years, but not forever. But after the after show came out, we didn't realize that he was, you know, killing as many animals as he did. And it was kind of shocking when they were talking about the lady brought his horse for him to take care of. And he took out his gun and shot it and then cut it up and fed it to tigers.
Yeah.
Like, what?
Also, in the show, they alluded to, like, he got convicted for killing 5 tigers, but the show made it seem like it was, like, euthanizing them, or it was, like, they couldn't live anymore, so they had to kill them, put them out of their misery. And I was like, wow, that's kind of scummy, but also, I mean, that's fair.
Yeah, you know, we do that to other animals.
We do that to dogs.
Yeah, I didn't see that as much as a big deal until the after show.
Yeah, and the after show explained that one of them, the tiger just, like, scratched at him, and he took out his gun and shot it dead. That's not good. That's pretty bad, to be honest.
Yeah. Our last person we're going to talk about before we get to our favorite parts of the documentary, Doc Antle.
Jail for Doc Antle. Doc Antle is single-handedly the sketchiest guy on the entire show.
I think the reason he's so sketchy is because he's clean, he's well-dressed. It makes him sketchier. Like, for some reason, he's too clean for me to trust.
That's so fair. I didn't even think about that, but yeah. Yeah, no,
like,
that's true.
Why would this guy, who's not attractive, be walking around with this much money, a tiger park, and 3 wives?
3 wives, you know, like, that he's admitted to.
Yeah, like, it just seems like there's something suspicious going on here. This doesn't make any sense.
I think what weirded me out most about Doc Antle, or should I say the parts of the documentary that focused on Doc Antle, is how they just nonchalantly mentioned his activities.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, he gassed some tigers, and then they cut. And it's like, what? Excuse me, can we go back to that right there? Or they'll be like, yeah, how many wives does he have? The one guy was like, I don't know, probably like 13, and then they just moved on. Like, that wasn't like a huge revelation. Or the fact that he's a doctor of mystical science. What?
They could make a whole 7-part documentary on Doc Antle alone.
I think he would have more compelling of a story than Joe.
Yeah, so now that our characters in jail segment is over, it's time to transition to our favorite moments of the documentary. And one of my favorites includes Doc Antle. And that was the whole Carol killed her husband saga. And of course, everyone on the show had their 2 cents of what they think happened. And, just Doc Antle was one of them. He was like, oh, yeah, she killed her husband. Everyone. And then, obviously, this is Joe's enemy. She's the anti-Joe Exotic character, which is ironic. In my opinion, they're pretty much doing the same thing. Joe's a little shadier about it and a lot darker, but she's trying to fight the captivity of tigers, but has tigers captive.
Listen, Jacob, you wouldn't get it, okay? The only way we can stop the captivity of tigers is to take all the tigers from other people's zoos and put them in mine.
Yeah, she's just such a hypocrite in this show.
Yeah. I think that the show really exposes her and her real sketchy business of tricking people into thinking that she is a good person and rescuing tigers.
Yeah, and murder for money.
Well, yeah, that's also there. I mean,
it was just weird because I'll admit I wasn't too sold on Carol killed her husband, because you got a bunch of these crazy people essentially saying, "Oh yeah, she killed her. She killed him. He's dead because of her." And I was like, whatever. Let's cool our jets here until the will, I think is what it was, said in case of his disappearance.
Yeah.
Which just, fascinating that she would make sure to include that.
I think that's the nail in the coffin. That's like, if anyone had doubts, say goodbye to those doubts. Because, she definitely killed him.
Yeah, Pierce and I both really like true crime stuff, essentially.
Yeah.
And, the fact that this had it in here cements it as one of our favorite documentaries for sure.
Yeah, I told, all the documentaries I've really watched, or most of them are crime documentaries. And so I think that's why this one also spoke to me, because I'm kind of a crime documentary junkie.
It was just fascinating that this had so many parts, and that happened to be one of them.
Like I said, the show is just insane. It's the only word I can use to properly describe it. It's outrageous. I think my favorite scene in the whole show embodies that perfectly, and that's the jet ski scene.
Oh.
I'm sure you guys have seen it because it's kind of popular. But when James came out on his jet ski and his tiny life jacket that was tightly strapped around his body, it chills down my spine. You know what I mean?
Yeah. It was playing the Eye of the Tiger in the background.
That's perfect. A perfect song for a perfect moment, in a perfect conclusion to the story. He was a scumbag, and he rode out like a Bond villain.
Truly, he did. He truly did.
Great moment.
You know who should be arrested that we forgot to mention is his hairdresser. Because he has... I didn't think that anyone's hair could get worse than Joe Exotic's, right?
Yeah.
His is worse. I'm ready to say it. His is much worse.
No. His hair is good, dude. You just don't get it.
At least Joe's hair fits his personality.
Are you saying James's hair does not fit his personality?
I don't know what that hair is.
Dude, it's James's hair.
It looks like if you put red hair on Shrek.
It's so greasy. It's impressive how greasy his head is.
It's like he's never washed his hair before.
You saw one of those commercials that's you really shouldn't shampoo your hair really often, and he's just like, you know what? You're right. I'm gonna stop. I'm gonna stop forever.
Yeah. I think another important part. Well, I have two more that I want to talk about. One I loved, one I didn't. But the one I loved, Joe and his politics of running.
Yeah.
You know, I used to be big into the politics, and so this was very amusing to me because one of my favorite quotes is when his campaign manager was like, "Yeah, Joe's running as a libertarian." I'm pretty sure he doesn't even know what that means. Like he was doing it 100% for the attention, and it was 100% successful. He got the attention. He got the attention he wanted.
Oh, but it was so good. I would have voted for him, dude. If it came down to between Joe Exotic, Donald Trump, and Hillary Clinton, I think I would see him as my perfect way out of that situation.
Because you could just play it off as a meme if he really got elected.
Yeah.
Well,
Like,
it'd be funny.
it's never gonna really happen.
Yeah, man. If he won, what a shithole our country would be.
Dude, here's the real question: how many write-ins for Joe Exotic will there be this campaign?
So
this
many,
electoral
so
season?
many, so many.
Uh,
I think I might do it.
I was thinking about it myself because our options once again are quite literally horrible.
So Joe Exotic 2020, hop on the train.
Yeah, dude, Joe Exotic, a tiger's gonna be his vice.
He can freaking be our president from prison.
The first prisoner ever.
Dude, that could be his catch line. Joe Exotic, president from prison.
You see, Donald Trump was actually thinking about pardoning him.
Dude, I bet he would.
Because
That'd be hilarious.
Someone like brought it up, like in a campaign, like not a campaign thing, but like in a question thing where they asked
A
questions.
press conference.
Yeah, press conference. They were like, Donald, will you pardon Joe Exotic? And he's like, who's that? And they explained, and he was like, I'll think about it.
Yeah, that would be great. Well, maybe not. He probably deserves to be in prison.
Dude, but that'd be so funny.
It would be funny.
Imagine, that's the biggest joke of all time. Joe Exotic freed from prison by President Donald Trump.
It's like when you look at those like memes where it's like what everyone thinks 2020 will be like, what 2020 is like, and then that's like the headline. Yeah. Another scene we need to talk about is that I certainly misunderstood was the death of one of Joe's husbands.
Yeah.
And when I first watched the show, I thought he deliberately killed himself.
That's what the show really made it seem like he did. Like,
yeah,
they
didn't
even sugarcoat it. Like, they were like, yeah, this guy wasn't happy, and he killed himself.
Yeah, like he was on drugs all the time, and obviously that's not good for your brain.
Yeah.
And it was pretty clear that he hated where he was. So they gave us context clues that would make it seem like it was on purpose. But we later learned in the after show that apparently it was a joke.
Yeah, he was telling the campaign manager guy, he put a gun up to his head and was like, listen, this thing won't fire if there's no clip in it. And he had a bullet in the chamber. And bloop.
Yeah.
That's
then
horrible.
It also talked about how the campaign manager had to deal with like seeing the bullet hole in the wall, like while he worked there.
Yeah, that's super dark.
We're going to do a little bit of a tone switch because that last part was kind of sad, and that would be a sad note to end on. So we're going to do one of the funnier parts of the show.
Probably
Joe's country music.
Yeah, it's probably the most underrated part of the entire show. Joe's music is actual bangers.
It was funny in the after show. He was like, that's not really Joe singing, is it? And he's like, of course not.
But the songs were good, dude. They were catchy. I hate country music, to be honest. Like, there's very little country music that I like, but dang, those were kind of funny. They're funny.
Yeah, if he really wrote them, color me impressed.
Yeah, that was quirky of you to say.
Yeah, hey, thanks. My favorite personally, and I don't think you can get much better than this. Here, Kitty Kitty.
Yeah, that's the best one. That's by far the best one. How they found someone to look so similar to Carol Baskin is just so impressive to me.
I'm curious how much they paid her.
That couldn't be a lot, right? I mean,
what's the going rate for Carol Baskin lookalikes?
I bet it's upped. I'll tell you that.
You should have bought stock in Carol Baskin lookalikes before this came out.
There was no way to know, dude. No way to know what to put, But his country music career is truly bangers. They're all on YouTube, on his YouTube. That's still uploads. Very cool. You can find all of his stuff actually on his YouTube. Like all of his original videos. That's crazy to me.
Yeah, I was really hoping that his store would still be up, because I wanted some of the Tiger King underwear. Unfortunately, it's gone. What do you think that stuff like unopened's going for on eBay?
High. But do you think
it's gotta be.
Do you think anyone bought that and then didn't open it?
Let me look at a quick Google search.
There's no way that someone's done that. Well, what would you even look up? Joe Exotic underwear?
I'm looking up Tiger King eBay merch.
Oh, I should not have looked this up. Oh, oh no. Oh no. Oh God. Why is that a minion? Why is that a minion on that man's penis?
What? They have
first image that came up, dude. What the heck?
They have free Joe Exotic shirts, free Joe Exotic hats.
Okay. Here,
Kitty Kitty hats.
Dude, I'd actually think about getting one of those.
You can get a Carol Did It sticker.
Now that I might have to look into.
Yeah. Why is this a thing?
What is it?
Tiger King Joe Exotic credit card, debit card, skin, vinyl. And it is the I'm never gonna financially recover from this meme.
Dude, that's really funny.
I kind of want to buy one.
That's really funny. You should get one of those.
I just want to pull it out at a restaurant and be like, what's the damage look like? I'm never going to be able to financially recover from this.
Oh, man.
Oh.
All right. I think with that, do you have anything to add?
The only thing I have to add is, please watch this.
Please watch this show. You guys are not going to regret it.
Yeah. Other than that, I think the only thing we have to say is check out our social media. Instagram and Twitter. Links below. If you're listening to this on a podcast app, you can check out our YouTube. If you're listening to it on YouTube, check it out on a podcast app.
And join our Discord.
Yeah, we got an awesome Discord. If you want to chat with the Roundtable boys, hop on.
Hop on that Discord, baby. And we'll see you in the next one.
Goodbye now.
Bye.